What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Better Biomed. Folks, today we're going to talk about ruggedized laptops because I've done a video a long time ago on my Getac B300 here, and this one is still the king when it comes to a hardcore laptop that's almost impossible to destroy, loaded with features. Ruggedized laptops are, well, they're rugged. You know, they got features like soft corners. They've got protection for things like hard drives. They've got dust and fluid intrusion via little flaps. And you'll see that there's no unexposed ports. Like even the DC ports here, they're all technically waterproof even when that's open. But you'll see that they also have some extra features like this guy right here. Having RS-232 is going to be something that you're going to see very common with these laptops. Fantastic laptops for a work environment because you cannot damage them per se. You'd have to go way out of your way to mess one of these guys up. So the Getac B300 was my favorite, but there's just a couple things that I did not like so much. One of them is the, let's say 800 by 600 resolution screen. I think it's something like that. And down here, it's got the rubberized keyboard, which it does work, and it works kind of good, but the problem is rubberized keyboards, you can't type fast, right? So it's exceptional if you are doing like slow typing or finger point typing, but when it comes to like documenting lots of things, that's where this Toughbook over here is going to come in. So the B300 has been awesome, but this guy I prefer to keep over here for my CNC machine, partially because of that aforementioned keyboard, because this prevents fluid and or dust and particles from, let's say, a CNC machine from getting inside and damaging anything. So this is a protected keypad. So that is the Getac. Love that laptop. I want to introduce you guys over here to the Panasonic Toughbook. And there are a series of these. First off, one of the things you'll notice, all these laptops have an integrated handle. Love that. But this one opens in reverse. So I always want to open it from here, from the handle, like the one that you just seen. But you have to flip it the other way. It opens like this. And this is the CF-33, which you can see it's got it has a cleaner looking display. It's got a natural keyboard, although I still think that this one here is dust and fluid intrusion prevention, although it's mechanical, right? It's not the rubberized. So it's got a larger trackpad here in the middle. Love that. Separate buttons. Love that. And it has flaps, although they're not nearly as durable as the ones on the Getac. These ones here got little like plastic flaps, right? And that little plastic hinge will eventually break, but you know, they do slide and they lock in and they're durable, right? So this guy has Ethernet here, and oddly enough, I think it's got something like that over here too. Let's see, we got SD, HDMI, yep, full-size HDMI, like it. And I've got USB 2 and USB 3, okay? And that does serve a function. A lot of people might not believe that, but it does serve a function. We have a shutter on this one for the charge port. And the charge port does something really interesting. See how recessed it is? And you see how this guy fits into that recession. That gives you some mechanical support structure for that DC adapter plug, because the barrel port is a high failure point because of the leverage and the yankage on the cord. Yeah, it's supported. How cool is that? I dig it. Now this laptop does have, you know, a couple problems here and there, but that's okay. Let's see. We also have, oh yeah, VGA out. That's another common theme with these laptops. You'll see that they'll have things like VGA. And this one has a mechanical latch. See that? Interesting. And you can already see that this one has broken part of the frame. That's all right. If anything, I will put some adhesive under there, but I think you can still get parts for all this. And I think it has a barcode scanner. I'm pretty sure that that's what that guy is. Yeah. So I have a camera here, and I've got a camera here, and you'll see why in just a moment. We got some onboard keys up here right under the display. And on this side, we've got some USB 3.0 ports, my Ethernet, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's another Ethernet, but it's up here on this guy. And look at that. As I said before, the RS-232 is a common trend with these, although I really like on the Getac that the RS-232 is on the back side. You can see here, they forward mounted it. Now, this gives you some real advantages compared to USB. Especially with medical equipment repair, you are interfacing with a device, having a dedicated port means that your COM port is always going to be the same. Now, when you're plugging from USB ports, that COM port for communication to your serial adapter, it changes when you plug it into a different USB port. It can be kind of frustrating, but it is what it is, right? So on the top side, nothing much going on there. Are you guys ready for the ultimate party trick for this guy? So we open it like this. Take a look down here. We have a little lock. We can unlock it, pull the release. There we go. And I now have a rugged tablet. And that is also why there's a barcode scanner on the top, because this guy here is a ruggedized tablet for inventory control and stuff like that. You can see it's got a biometrics roller right there. So there's supposed to be a stylus right here, and mine unfortunately doesn't have the stylus. You can see my DC jack has now moved up here to the tablet. So we pull that guy up, and now I've got a DC jack up there because this guy is now disconnected, right? Let's put it back there. We've got Ethernet up here. I told you there's a second Ethernet port. And this guy, we've got a micro SD card. And you know something? Did I just see that correctly? What else is this? There's something sus is going on there with that micro SD, because it looks like that whole thing pops out. I don't know, but we got a 3.5 millimeter audio jack. We've got USB 3, and we've got full-size HDMI, right? And I do believe that that's like a Kensington lock. Bottom side, we've got our mating ports for the dock / bottom of the laptop. And right here's your connector bar. So, guys, let's go ahead and check this guy out. I'll plug it back in. Oh, sorry, guys. I keep forgetting. There is actually something else that you can do. You can flip this guy around, latch it in, and now you have a version of this guy that is got more connectivity. So it's still a ruggedized tablet. See? How crazy is that? The problem with these CF-33s, actually a lot of these Toughbooks, is that a lot of these belong to police departments and or large businesses or fire departments. And that's why they're so ruggedized, but they often lock out the BIOS. And it is kind of a pain in the butt to get into the BIOS because it's password protected and nobody has the passwords. There are some ways of getting through it, but that's something I'm experimenting on the backside. I took the alternative route and said, screw it. Let's go ahead and let's just put Linux on it. And that is what I did. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and boot this guy up. I'm going to show you how fast it boots up. I have Zorin installed on here, and it's the latest version of it. And there's many Linux distros that you can install. Zorin for me was probably the best and the latest, and it's got the most driver support, so I didn't have to hunt for any drivers. Let's go ahead and boot it up. Let's take a look, see how fast it boots. So here's my Panasonic splash screen. Now, when I got this guy, there was some security adhesive that was installed over this. I had to clean that up because obviously for security reasons, they wanted the webcam to be obscured. So there was a whole bunch of adhesive on it. So here it is. You can see it booted up. This is Zorin, and I've got this guy fully operable, and I'm experimenting with it because this is a new distro. I've never played around with this one. But anyway, it has all the features that you would want from a traditional desktop operating system. It's got a bunch of built-in apps, and I've got some of them that I was able to nab from the web store, which is right here. Pretty cool. Works fantastic. There's many of the apps that I would use on the day in and day out that were absolutely fine. Instead of using like Microsoft Office, there's Open Office, and if not, I use a lot of Google products. Now, when you buy these laptops, there's a few things that you need to be aware of. One of them is the hinges, okay? Hinges are going to be the weak point of any laptop, so we have to be very cognizant of the hinges, and we're gonna test that by holding the base and seeing how this guy flops around. Now you can tell that this guy is really tight. Yeah, there's minimal play in this guy. Some of them, you might actually see a little bit of flexing down here at the base. That would not be the laptop I would buy, guys, okay? This one is actually flexing right here. The mechanical connection between the 2 points is not a failure of the hinges, so no worries there. Now, these laptops often have other built-in features that you can probably program for later. All the function buttons right here work with the Zorin. So it's fully up and running. I can USB a keyboard into it if I want a full-size keyboard. And you see one of the cool things about using Linux is it'll tell you, hey, look at this. There's some updates needed. Let's go ahead and install those. And there you have it. It's going to go ahead and install those updates, and then I can shut it down. Superficial things like cracks, those will be okay as long as it boots up and your hard drive has no known issues. Now, particularly on this Toughbook, it's got this back flap right here, which I think is so cool. So you do this, you move it down, and have full access to both the batteries. This is the easiest laptop I've ever seen to change batteries. And if you take a look right here, they give you some instructions for the indicators. And you can see right here, it's got an indicator. And it says that my battery 1 is off. So I don't know why that is. But anyway, it just slaps down and you're off and running. You could open this guy up and maybe change out some of the memory and stuff. On some of these ruggedized laptops, you can do that. But I'm not sure if this particular one can do that. On the Getac, again, this is easily one of my favorite laptops because it is almost indestructible. There's a little patch down here on the bottom that you can open up, or you can go through the perimeter right here and you can take the whole bottom off. But just be aware that these guys right here have a seal, you know, because they are watertight and they're also like airtight inside the case. So just be wary of that, okay? My Getac also has really good hinges. No flexing right here. 2 awesome laptops. Since this guy has a newer set of hardware, a higher resolution screen, and a better keyboard, this is going to be the ruggedized laptop that I'm going to experiment with. I do a lot of things outdoors, especially with things like Arduino. So this is going to be the laptop I'm using for that. This guy here is going to live natively over on my CNC machine, and that's its #1 function. I can use this as a server also for my 3D printing. So it has its job, it does it really well, and it's easily the most dust and waterproof. So this guy lives in a shop environment. This one here, it's my system to experiment with. What can I say? It's a fabulous laptop, got a lot of options, and so far, I really dig it. So check them out. The CF-33 by Panasonic is a phenomenal little laptop loaded with features. And if you have problems with like the batteries, you can buy replacements of all those still to this day. Now, normally these are very expensive laptops, And I think brand new, these are going for like $3,000 to $5,000. You can buy them right now for like $200. And that's where I got this guy. This guy right here, the Getac, if you can find them, they're just a few $100s, $200, $300. Again, the hardware isn't the latest and greatest, but by doing things like installing the Zorin, putting it on any platform, and it instantly gives you a performance increase. So it's like giving a breath of new life. And I would not hesitate to buy either one of these again. They're awesome laptops. So there you go. Two of the leading ruggedized laptops. We got the Getac B300, and I've got the CF-33 by Panasonic, the Toughbook, and both of them are absolute tanks. So hope you learned something, and if you're considering buying these maybe for servicing medical equipment in the field, both of them are excellent options. The native RS-232 ports, lots of USB ports, especially on the Toughbook here. However, the Getac is just a little more rugged. If you can handle the worst keyboard and the little bit lower quality display, the Getac is the one. But Toughbook has got so much flexibility. It's also an amazing little laptop. Thanks for watching, guys.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below with what you'd like to see in future videos.